Welcome, and thanks for your interest in Quilts Unlimited at View in Old Forge, New York. I'm Kathryn Greenwold, and I was honored to serve as this year's Juror of Selection for the 2020 Quilts Unlimited exhibition. The show will run from October 3rd through November 7th. View is open daily, with masks and social distancing required. My grandmother introduced me to quilting as a child. By age 10, I was sewing by hand and machine. I made garments with my mother, but it was my grandmother's quilts that captured my imagination. I've now been quilting for more than 60 years and have been a professional quilter, designer, teacher, and appraiser for about 25 years. I enjoy teaching, and quilting gave me a way to be home with my two girls when they were young, but still have a professional and creative life. With my design partner, Lynn Reynolds Macron, I've written 2 books of quilt patterns based on traditional blocks. I enjoy making traditional quilts, but have adopted and taught many new techniques for their creation. The quilt you see hanging behind me is one of the patterns from our first book. It is my representation of the neon lights in Times Square. I also enjoy working more freely with unusual materials and hand-dyed fabrics to create small quilted artworks. One of my favorite small quilts is this collage of wool and silk roving, fabric bits, deconstructed silk flowers, netting, and beads. I call it Forest Floor and display it laying flat on a table rather than hanging. I've taken the appraisal skills course from the American Quilt Society and have attended many quilt history seminars and workshops with other professional quilters. While judging and appraising are different, my knowledge of quilt history and techniques, old and new, help when looking at quilts either for selection or awards. The juror for selection for any exhibit reviews all the work submitted to determine if the pieces fit within the eligibility guidelines. Quilts Unlimited is open to all quilters, but there were specific requirements to be considered for inclusion in Quilts Unlimited. Each quilt needed to be made primarily of fabric and include 3 layers, a top, a batting, and a backing. They needed to be quilted rather than tied and fit within one of 3 categories. Bed quilts were larger than 61 by 61 inches and intended primarily to be used on a bed. Wall quilts are smaller than 61 inches and intended to be hung on a wall. Art quilts had no size limitation, but they had to be an original design, reflecting innovative construction, a thematic subject matter, and/or non-traditional materials. Kit quilts were ineligible. I selected the quilts included in this exhibit by viewing images submitted online. I did not have any information about the makers, but did have dimensions and the titles of the quilts. I also referred to the guidelines for submission to inform my decisions. I studied the construction techniques used and the quality of the work, the quilting, and how it enhanced or detracted from the overall visual impact of the quilt. Finally, I considered how the quilt might fit within the greater body of contemporary quilting. One of the things I have been impressed with year after year is the quality and variety of the quilts submitted to Quilts Unlimited. This year's quilts do not disappoint. When you attend the exhibit, you will enjoy seeing traditional quilts, both pieced and appliqued, displayed alongside of art quilts that include painted and manipulated fabrics, unique applique designs, and use of a variety of materials. Go to the View website, www.viewarts.org, to get more information about all of the exhibitions, classes, and events going on, and to register for the opening reception on October 2nd and Zoom lecture on October 3rd. Quilts Unlimited opens October 3rd. And until October 24th, you can also view the 2020 Keeping with Traditions exhibit. This year it will feature quilts made with flying geese blocks. Also running until October 24th is the 4-inch by 12-inch Fiber Challenge exhibit. To meet this challenge, participants had to create a work no larger than 4 inches by 12 inches that included fibers, but also could include other materials. Plan to spend a quiet day in the Old Forge area and visit View. The quilts to be exhibited this year are certainly worth the trip.
Hi, this is Pat Harrison speaking to you from Exeter, Rhode Island. I was proud to be the judge for View Quilts Unlimited 2020, and I'm here to share my thoughts with you about my selection of the Best of Show, the NACQJ Award of Merit Ribbon, and my Judge's Choice. I'm going to start out with my Judge's Choice, which was Wominventors. This is a piece I would love to take home and explore, and that is often what we judges say when asked, how do you pick that Judge's Choice? My fascination with this quilt was one of the things was its muted color scheme, which I think gave added importance to its message, and the level of detail. All of the things about this quilt would make it wonderful to explore, front and back, as the back also has media on it. So congratulations to the creator of that quilt. I hope this little pat on the back will help you in your journey as a quilter. Second, I'd like to mention the NACQJ Award of Merit Ribbon, which is a ribbon awarded by a judge a certified judge who comes to judge your show, and this is a ribbon from our organization. We may award it to any quilt we see has a special quality to it, and Painted Shards definitely had that quality. When we're judging in the flesh, what we do is we have the number of the quilt and the name of the quilt. We do not have any information about the quilt, and that helps us with it becoming a truly blind judging. We need to have then a knowledge of technique so that when we see something, we recognize it for its difficulty and creativity. So in Painted Shards, because we're doing a virtual quilt judging, more information was provided. And I saw a lot of humor in how this artist approach this quilt. She started out with a bed sheet, in frustration used up all of her paints, and then with a resulting fabric, chopped that up, paper pieced it, put it back together, and framed it with a nice wide black border for some very needed negative space. Her quilting added much to this creation as she outlined each piece in black to give it a little more drama, and then repeated the black at the edge with a contrast thread in a crazy COVID type quilting. So congratulations to that quilter for her creativity. Lastly, I'd like to acknowledge the Best of Show Love Letters. This quilt has a tremendous amount of detail and a tremendous amount of design work, all of which is cohesive and to be congratulated. It's another quilt that would be worth exploring from a distance and then moving closer and closer to see the other aspects of it. This person has shown a mastery of a multitude of techniques, from her intricate embroidery, applique, I believe it's cross stitch for the letters, and then all the way out to the very edge of the border, where a very special border treatment of a penny rug style was added. So an extraordinary quilt and worthy of being your Best of Show. So those are my thoughts, a little bit about how we certified judges judge, and congratulations to all the entries at View Quilts Unlimited 2020 for all their hard work and their amazing creativity. Thank you so much for including me, and I hope to see you again.